The international symbol for emergency medicine is a snake. Not a cross, not a heart, not a pair of hands. A snake wound around a stick, sitting in the middle of a blue six-pointed star. The animal we were told ruined everything is the one we painted on the vehicle that comes when somebody calls for help. That is not irony. It was not a design accident either. What survives on those doors is the older reading of the Serpent, sitting in plain sight, quietly outliving the reading that replaced it. Most of us inherited only the second one. The garden, the fruit, the deceiver, the thing that cost us paradise. A symbol read backwards does slow, patient damage. If the serpent is only ever the enemy, then everything wearing its face gets met as an attack. The diagnosis, the ending nobody chose, the year that took something away and never explained itself. We spend an enormous amount of effort trying to kill the one thing that has ever actually changed us. The Greeks did not think of the snake as a moral character at all. They thought of it as a physician. Asclepius was their god of medicine. His emblem was a single serpent coiled around a plain wooden staff. That staff is still on the badge of the World Health Organization. You will find it on ambulances, on pharmacy windows, on the lanyard of the last doctor who saw you. Nobody kept it out of superstition. It survived because nothing better ever arrived to replace it. His temples were not hospitals in any sense we would recognize. At Epidaurus, the sick traveled for days, washed, and made a small offering. Then they went to sleep, in a long open hall built for exactly that. The treatment was the sleep. The god was expected to arrive in the dream and say or show what the cure was. And through that hall, among the sleeping bodies, non-venomous snakes were kept and allowed to move freely. Being touched by one in the dark was not the horror of the night. That was the reason for the journey. The sanctuary put up stone tablets recording what happened to people there, and the tablets survive. They are strange reading. Men and women arrive lame or blind in one eye or pregnant for years. Something in the dark attends to them. They walk home. Whatever we make of the cures, the tablets tell us plainly what these people were not afraid of. They lay down on purpose in a building with snakes in it, hoping to be touched. There is a small joke buried in the modern version. Many American medical badges carry two snakes on a winged staff, which is not the Rod of Asclepius at all. That one is the caduceus, and it belonged to Hermes, god of merchants, travelers, thieves, and escort of the dead down to the underworld. The U.S. Army Medical Corps adopted it in 1902, and the error spread from there. A century of doctors have been wearing the wrong snake. Even the wrong one is a snake. The Greek word underneath the whole business gives us the word pharmacy. Pharmakon meant remedy. It also meant poison, not two words that happen to sound alike and not a pun the language later regretted. One word holding both, because the difference between them is almost never the substance. The difference is the dose, the timing, and the hand. In every hospital, there is a locked cupboard where the drug that will save the person in the next room sits beside the amount of it that would finish them. None of that is metaphor. It's a fairly accurate description of how a great deal of medicine has actually been made. In the 1960s, a Brazilian pharmacologist, Sergio Ferreira, was studying the venom of the jararaca. It's a pit viper, and its bite drops a victim's blood pressure catastrophically fast. Most people would call that the problem. Ferreira treated it as a question. He isolated the peptides responsible, and the work that followed produced captopril, approved in 1981 as the first drug of its kind. Blood pressure tablets now sit in kitchen drawers in tens of millions of houses, taken with breakfast, entirely unremarkable. They descend from a snake bite. The thing that dropped the pressure too far became the thing that lowers it just enough. That was not the last time. Two of the drugs given during a heart attack to stop platelets clumping together came out of viper venom the same way. Take the exact mechanism that kills and run it at a dose that saves. Paracelsus said it in the 1500s, and pharmacology has spent 5 centuries confirming it. The dose makes the poison. There is no separate category of healing substances, and there never was. Then there is a second measurement, and it answers a stranger question. Why is this animal in everybody's sacred stories, on every continent, among cultures that never met? The anthropologist Lynn Isbell proposed in 2006 that the answer is not cultural transmission, but eyesight. Snakes were among the first serious predators of early primates. Spotting one fast enough carried an enormous advantage, so the visual system got shaped around that problem. The laboratory work is consistent with the idea. Adults and preschool children, shown a grid of photographs, find the single snake among the flowers faster than they find the single flower among the snakes. Recordings in the macaque brain, in a structure sitting on the fast visual route, found neurons that fire more quickly and more strongly to snake images than to faces or hands. The hypothesis has real support and real critics, and the question stays open. But it does something no amount of mythology can do. It offers a reason the serpent is everywhere, without needing any culture to have borrowed it from any other. We may all be carrying the same picture, because we were all built to find it first. Which is why the flinch at the coiled garden hose happens before anybody has decided anything. The eye gets there first. The argument about whether it was a hose arrives second. There is a phase in a snake's life that almost nobody outside of keeping them knows about, and it may be the part of the story that matters most. Shedding is not one clean moment. The process takes days, and it starts with the animal going blind. The transparent scale covering each eye clouds over, turning a dull milky blue, and for that stretch the snake cannot see properly at all. So it stops hunting. It refuses food, hides in whatever dark corner it can find, and turns defensive with anyone who comes near. Then the old skin splits at the nose, and the animal walks out of the front of itself. The blindness is not a failure of the shed. The blindness is the shed. That is what the process looks like from the inside. There is no version of it where the animal keeps its sight, keeps its appetite, keeps being good company, and changes anyway. Which is roughly how it goes for us, except that we almost never recognize it while it's running. It looks like a bad few months. It looks like not being able to read a page, not wanting to answer the phone, being short with people who did nothing. We tend to file that under decline. We treat it as evidence that something has gone wrong with us. Then afterwards, there is a wardrobe with clothes in it belonging to somebody we are not anymore. There is a question we used to be frightened of, and we can now answer it without our voice changing. There is a number in a phone that we no longer have any reason to call. None of that arrived on a day anyone could name. None of it arrived during the good months. The Egyptians put the whole idea on a hat. The uraeus is the cobra worn at the front of the pharaoh's headdress, rearing up, hood spread, facing forward. The most dangerous thing in the landscape, mounted at eye level, aimed out at the world. It was not killed and it was not hidden. It was not tamed either, it was positioned. Authority in that culture did not look like a person with no serpent. It looked like somebody who had worked out where to wear one. Most of us are running the opposite strategy, and we have been taught to call that maturity. The rage, the grief, the wanting, the fear underneath the wanting. All of it gets treated as material to be eliminated. When elimination fails, we call that a personal failing and try harder. But suppression has never removed anything from anybody. It relocates it. The energy that goes into a rage is the same energy that goes into building something. Grief that will not move is love with nowhere left to be put down. What the serpent traditions are saying, from a hall at Epidaurus to the front of a pharaoh's head, is not that the danger is imaginary. Very nearly the reverse. The danger is completely real and made of the same substance as the cure, and the only variables anyone has ever had are the dose and the direction. That is not a comfortable teaching. It's a considerably more useful one than being told the snake was evil and the story ended in a garden. A shed skin lying on a path is one of the strangest things a person can come across. The thing is complete, down to the scales, the shape of the head, and the two clouded discs where the eyes were. The whole animal is there, and there is nothing inside it, and nothing died. Something walked out of the front of itself, larger than before. It left behind a perfect record of what it used to be. Most of us have one of those somewhere. A year, a version, a way of speaking we do not use anymore. And most of us are still frightened of the thing that made it. Thank you for watching. If something here shed a skin for you, the comments are the right place for it, so tell us what bit you and what it eventually turned into. If this is the kind of thinking you want more of, like the video, share it with somebody who could use a different reading of their own bad year, and subscribe to the channel.